here's Bill Meyers.
11 minutes after 8. The natives are getting restless, and I'm speaking of Southern Oregonians when it comes to reaction of this Cascade-Siskiyou National Monument expansion in the waning days of the Obama administration. Ryan Mallory joins me, and of course he's with the No Monument movement. Ryan.
Good morning, Bill.
All right. So tomorrow you got a big rally and protest going on, and I'm seeing reports coming out of regular folks, out of the Patriot community, out in Josephine County. I know they're getting involved in what's going on tomorrow. Tell us what's happening tomorrow and why this is so important, rather, and what you are hoping to accomplish out of this over time.
So yes, tomorrow we have a 4x4 and equipment rally, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we'd like to project as a culture as far as using the land and also protesting peacefully, because there's been lots of stuff in the news and we just don't want to be part of that kind of thing.
Okay, so on the No Monument rally and protest, this is not going to be like Berkeley throwing barriers through windows and setting the campus on fire.
Oh, right? No, that's our meeting spot, and then we're going to drive down Highway 99 to Ashland, and Ashland is no Berkeley either. And as testimony to how peaceful we want this to be, we've reached out to each law enforcement agency, the chiefs, the sheriff, OSP command, every jurisdiction that we'll be driving through. We've given them our paths and those kind of things. We've talked directly to Ashland PD to plan, and they know that we have a set of security rules that include defusing situations and being nice to folks and shaking hands. A little bit of positive debate is fine, but if that gets too far, then we're perfectly fine with backing up. That's not a problem. And we also reached out to the director of KS Wild, one of the local groups in Ashland that was a proponent of the monument and was part of the planning and those kind of things, and had a very positive conversation. And Joseph Vale, told me personally that they have no intentions of protesting our rally. We have a difference of opinion, and that's just fine.
That's really interesting because some KS Wild folks were in here at another radio station, and I gave them the opportunity to come on here, and they did not avail themselves of that opportunity.
Well, that happens, and I was availed of the opportunity to be on JPR, and I passed that up too because I want to hit the target audience. And honestly, the target audience is your listeners, and you're the guy that kind of let us know while we were all working that this was going on.
Okay. And I think what we're looking at right now is such a division, and I know we like to talk about it being a peaceful situation, but the way the monument was promoted, the way the president was asked to do it, was a fraud and a malfeasance of duty, as far as I'm concerned, by the late Senator Alan Bates and Peter Buckley and various other state legislators. No notification of the county. County's not involved, and this is a matter of county concern. And just pushing this up the food chain, the KS Wilds of the world, the gangrene NGOs, the various people involved in the policy consensus stakeholder group way of doing things rather than the actual rule of law, they all knew about it, and everybody else was not even part of the process. It's a fraud right from the beginning, Ryan. Really.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, a public meeting where the public isn't really invited and is barely published, that's just so disingenuous. And, we kind of want to show that opposition that the folks that work in the forest, whose families are supported by forest funds, and the folks that hunt, fish, hike, take photographs in the forest, we're nice folks, and we're taught at a very young age that sharing is important, and we just want to share. We don't want to lock anybody out of the forest.
What they did with this monument expansion, what the president did, was grabbing some 45,000 acres of O&C land meant for one purpose and one purpose only: sustained yield timber at productive capacity, and money going to the local governments, meaning the county, to end up paying for needed services. That's what that land is for, and it was stolen.
It totals 156,000 acres when you take into account the original wilderness area and the second by G.W. Bush monument expansion. This is the third.
Yeah, the Association of Oregon Counties, of course, we talked about this the other day with Commissioner Simon Hare in Josephine County. They are filing suit against the federal government to roll this back. So it may get rolled back sooner rather than later. It's hard to say because it clearly violates the O&C Act. We know that. The Antiquities Act did not negate the O&C Act. That's one thing that we need to keep in mind here. Now, what you're hoping to do with some petitioning is to change the way in the future that these monuments are actually designated and formed. Isn't that the case?
Bill on the House floor, S33, that would change that would put things in perspective so that it would require an act of Congress to use the Antiquities Act to take land, and that act of Congress would be reliant on approval of the individual states. That doesn't really help us with Cape Brown, obviously, but it does put something in place where the public will have some notice about what's being done and be able to have some input. And folks we elected, like our county commissioners, and bless their hearts for actually standing up for us and doing what we hired them to do.
Sure.
They're doing a good job in that aspect as far as the ONC counties and Klamath County, also their county commission from the get-go, and Siskiyou County as well. We're all against it every meeting, every time. At this point, we would like to go out and rally and, fill Ashland and then the Green Springs and Hyatt Lake area with folks that are supporting that effort.
Okay, so it starts 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and you're going to meet at South Medford High School. 11 o'clock, you drive to Ashland, to the Ashland Plaza, right? And then to Green Springs early in the afternoon there. Do you have a bunch of people that are slated to speak at this, or is it pretty much, hey, we're here, get over it kind of thing? What are you hoping to do?
It is. I'll speak a little bit, and there may be some other leaders that speak a little bit, but for the most part, it's about getting a bunch of good people that spend time in the forest or work in the forest together. And you'll see things like firefighting vehicles, snowmobiles, ATVs being pulled on trailers. We want to show them, what we do in the forest, and having that kind of support and things in the news will also hopefully help with the effort of getting, President Trump to see it, and he likes to reverse things. This is a great one for him to work on in the future.
I think this is a great idea what you're planning on doing here. And also, when you have people out there with their snowmobiles and 4x4s and outdoor enthusiasts and hunters and all the rest of it, you're showing the true economic impact that goes on public lands, rather than the effort to lock everything into a monument where there's very, very limited public access to it. I think this is a great idea.
Thank you, sir. We really need to stick up for our culture, and in a way, I feel like this is an attack on a culture of people that has been here for more than 150 years, that hikes, hunts, fish, does things in the forest that, local Southern Oregonians have enjoyed for decade upon decade. And folks need to know that we're just folks like them. We see each other in the grocery store, but locking us out of the land, that's just not going to work. There are families that need support, and our economy and crime activity and those kind of things go down when there's jobs.
No monument, rally, and protest. It's going on tomorrow starting at 10 o'clock. Meet up over at the South Medford High School. You can bring your car, your 4x4, your motorcycle equipment, and just join in the event. And it starts at 10, and then you can find out more on the web, and we'll link to this too, nomonument.com. And on Facebook, you can also find out the latest on this, facebook.com/nomonument, PAC, NW, as it were. And we'll get all of that up there. Ryan, hope you have a great turnout out there, okay?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right.
Take care.
Ryan Mallory, and he's with nomonument.com.